Hi, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Hi, this is a best-selling author. I threw the best-selling in there. Best-selling author Dick Wybrow.
I'm Melanie from Second Shooter.
This is Jeff with Second Shooter.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Allen from Bridges Ablaze.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
Yo guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola amigos, this is Billy Sheehan.
Hey guys, this is John Karabi.
Hi, this is Jim Valance.
What's up everybody, it's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey guys, it's Leather Leone.
This is Nothing from Inside the Trojan Horse.
What's up guys, Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
My name's Reggie and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
The most amazing things that can happen to a human being will happen to you if you lower your expectations. Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. Here are your hosts, TBT and Ace.
Greetings, salutations, and what's up? I am TBT. That guy over there, that's Ace. Welcome to episode 143 of the Weekly Pour podcast. So close to 150. I've got a bunch of things I'm closing, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Welcome to everybody who may be in the chat. Welcome if you're watching on the YouTubes, if you're watching on the Book of Face, wherever you're watching. This is your home to get lots of news and lots of fun stuff in the world of metal music. And we focus more on 80s, 90s. But, you know, hey, we're not scared. Welcome to everybody that's already in the chat. If you are watching, be sure to stop in and say hi. You don't have to chat with these clowns, but at least say hi because, you know, that helps. Hit that thumbs up button. Looks like the Viper's in there. Mama TBT was first. Kathy's in there. And once again, guess who we're missing?
Where is she?
Who knows? Who knows? Who freaking knows? How do we have a producer, director, moderator that can't even show up on time?
Well, or if all at all.
Yeah. Oh, and Mrs. TBT showed up, so that's good. It's always nice when, you know, people that actually know. I'm going to send her a message. Watch this. I mean, I guess she can't watch, but I'm going to send something to her. WTF. I'll just send that, see what happens. She's probably going to blame her internet. Probably. I don't know. Viper's already in there shooting off stuff. Just to start things off, let me tell you that I'd never listened to Paralandra before. I missed the podcast they were on, went back and listened to their top-rated songs. Holy cow, they're fantastic. Viper, we will get into that here in a little while. We're probably going to get through some of our news stories before we talk about it because, of course, Ace and I, along with Mrs. TBT and our moderator, Natalie and Kathy, and the sheriff, we all went down to Paoli, Indiana last Friday for FireHouse and Paralandra. But we'll get into that here in a little bit because I know we both have a lot to say about it. But yeah, other than that, I am just about done with pumping out my yard.
What do you mean? The rain?
Yeah. What other reason would there be other than the stupid ass rain?
I got caught in the deluge yesterday. Yeah, I was standing on the sidewalk. Maybe.
Okay.
I was on the sidewalk conducting business for my job, talking to someone, and that's when it hit. And this person I was talking to was in their car, and they're talking to me and like keep talking while I'm there, just getting soaked. And then they apologize to me. Sorry about that. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Did your sign get wet?
What would my sign say?
Well, no. The sign that you have there at the corner that you're spinning around, telling everybody where the sales.
No, the one that says gold for cash or cash for gold. Yeah, cash for gold.
Yeah. Yeah. So did it get soaked?
Yes, it's unusable now. Boss was ticked.
Yeah, you got to replace it now. You have to pay for it. It's coming out of your paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one wants my gold.
No.
Because there's no gold.
It's fool's gold.
I've gotten away with that and Canadian money for years. That's what I've lived off of.
Till now, you just outed yourself. The last time I tried to see you use Canadian money was when you tried to buy a beer.
Well, yeah, and it worked, didn't it?
Well, yeah, because she said, "Okay, here you go, eh?" I mean, I was impressed. I was very impressed. Good grief. I don't even know where we start tonight. There's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of news. Some very interesting, some other stuff that's not. And there's a couple stories that we decided to not touch on, but yet I'm going to touch on one of them because we were talking about it right before we went live on the air.
Right.
And I'm only going to touch on it because it's so disappointing, and I guess it's such a letdown if you're a fan of Puddle of Mud. Now, I don't have the story pulled up in front of me, but Wes Scantlin, who we have talked about a couple times before, having legal troubles. I think there was a domestic issue. There was some drinking issues, alcohol related stuff.
Wasn't he in a tank at one point and then got pepper sprayed? Remember that?
Oh, you're right. I was thinking you were making a joke about a drunk tank, but I think you're correct.
No, he took a tank or a Humvee or something.
Damn it. Wes, I got to look this up now. Because it was something like that.
But he was interviewed yesterday.
Yeah. I'll look. You're all over this one.
Yeah, I got it here on Blabbermouth. So the headline, Puddle of Mud's Wes Scantlin on his troubles with the law. I really seriously don't do that much wrong things. Don't do that much wrong things, he says.
Don't do that much.
He speaks good English. This is a transcription by Blabbermouth. During an appearance on the July 15th episode of SiriusXM's Trunk Nation with Eddie Trunk, Wes Scantlin was asked if it's fair to say that Puddle of Mud is a band in name only, with Wes as the sole remaining original member and having a revolving door of musicians playing alongside him. Scantlin, who has joined in Puddle of Mud, their current lineup being Michael Anthony Grzeski on bass, Miles Shawn, which I found interesting, which is the son of Journey's Neil Shawn on guitar, and John Smith on drums, responded, "Right now, everything's solid, and I pray to God that no one leaves me again." Please, dear God above, do not let any of these people leave. It's hard to make the transitions, and they're a pain in the butt. Asked why he thinks there's been so much turnover in Puddle of Mud over the years in terms of personnel, Wes said, "Well, I got signed by Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit 25 years ago, and they were just like, here, we want you to just come. We want you to come, but the band was already dissolved at that point, and I was at a breaking point to where I was just going to stop music anyway." So basically what he's saying, Fred came along and rescued him and helped him put together these bands that he's been, going through over these years. Just put him in a hotel room with a guitar and told him to write and just keep writing. But unfortunately, some people have different situations in their lives and stuff and can't control that stuff. So I've had to make different moves and stuff. He says stuff a lot. And hopefully these guys, they won't take off like a lot of other people have. So he's talked about his various problems with the law, alcohol, finances, and other issues that he's encountered over the years, a lot of which was covered by the mainstream media. Asked if he feels like much of that stuff is behind him, he says, "Yeah, my main goal is just to stay out of trouble. And I'm really seriously don't do that much wrong things. I really just don't. But I'm like a big fish in a little pond. I call myself Christmas dinner trophy for the Popo."
I think
don't know what that means.
Popo.
Ah, Popo. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I wonder how many times they've explained that they've arrested me at their Christmas dinner party at Christmas Day. And I'm telling you, man, I'm just a big, huge trophy. I don't know about that. But on the topic of whether a lot of his troubles with the law have been misrepresented in the media, he says, "I've made some mistakes, but at certain points I could breathe in the wrong direction and get cuffed, slammed in a dungeon. Shoot, man, it's weird. My whole thing, my whole motto is turn around and run for your life as fast as you possibly can." Clarifying, though, that he's not referring to running away from the police, he added, "I'm talking about like maybe a girlfriend or something. If they hit the psycho wall, as I call it, turn around and run. Somebody's got to go down, and they usually pick me. That is the gist of that, I think. It goes
That's
into
the gist. We have to give Blabbermouth credit for you plagiarizing the entire article as you sat there and read it.
I did give them credit, and Eddie Trunk. That's the gist. He goes through some of his legal troubles where he was arrested in Burbank on a warrant, a new charge of resisting, and things like that. But he really don't do that much wrong. It goes through the whole thing. I don't know. I don't know anyone that when they don't take responsibility for things. I don't know anyone that like recovers from that. Like they just keep getting into trouble and getting into the trouble.
Right. You've got
Because
to
you're not
accept the
taking
fact that you are the issue.
right. And he didn't get into much about why there's a revolving door in Puddle of Mud, but I would say if you looked in the mirror,
right,
you might realize why there's a problem keeping people in that band.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it's really sad because he's got a lot of talent. He can write, obviously, he can write music when he's sober and focused and whatever.
I mean,
So
to give him credit, though, I mean, because I read the article, I skimmed through it, and he is trying to move past all that, and stay out of trouble, which is good. It was just the reason, I hadn't planned on talking about it was just because it's disheartening to see someone like him going through these things and then be like, I don't do anything. I don't know why I'm getting in trouble. And it's like, bruh, just, accept your responsibilities and all that. And maybe he has. You know how articles can be in interviews. They get twisted just enough to get people to read them. But I hope he is moving past it because, like you just said, he's a great songwriter. Maybe he can get a band that's actually going to stick together and they can do something. Because just like us, they're not getting any younger either.
right, and the people that he has with him, I think, are younger anyway, so that helps.
Right.
If they're young and hungry and want to get going in music, maybe getting with him and staying with him a little while will help.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's cool he's got Neil Sean's kid with him. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you sit there and you allegedly stalk your girlfriend, beat your girlfriend, run from the cops in a tank or an SUV or a Humvee or something, get pepper sprayed. I mean, just name the offense, and he's done it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it just seems like Puddle of Mud is in quite the proverbial puddle of mud.
Exactly.
I will tell you, as Wes looks for that assistance and that help, and looking for other bands to help guide him as he makes his transition into a better self. One person he should not look out for that advice would be Perry Farrell, our lovely Jane's Addiction frontman, who is now found himself in a lawsuit for $10 million after the onstage fight, stopped the tour and the new album that Jane's Addiction was going to go. I don't remember how many months ago when we talked about.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we talked about this and we're all over it. Well, this lawsuit has come up, and the bad thing about this is that Jane's Addiction members Dave Navarro, Eric Avery, and Stephen Perkins are the ones that have filed a lawsuit against Perry Farrell, where they claim that the onstage altercation between Farrell and Navarro, it was September actually of last year, resulted in the cancellation of both their North American tour and a planned album. Navarro is also suing Farrell for assault and battery related to that incident. Remember, this happened in September. It's now July, and that's when the complaint has been filed. It was actually filed today out in Los Angeles.
Did you see how much they're claiming they lost?
Oh, yeah.
As a result of the tour cancellation, $10 million.
Well,
$10 million.
that's why we're suing them for $10 million.
Right, but does he have that kind of money?
Who knows? There's going to be a settlement. There will be. and what's going to be part of the settlement? You lose the name. You cannot profit off of Jane's addiction anymore. Part of the complaint. I'm going to see if I can find this. This is what it states, and this is according to our friends over at Blabbermouth too. The band can no longer function as a result of the defendant's conduct, including his sudden violent outbursts and demonstrated inability to serve as the band's frontman and vocalist. The physical, emotional, and financial harms defendant has wrought have deeply impacted the plaintiffs, their families, and their loved ones. And it's time for defendant to face the consequences of his actions and be held accountable. Jane's Addiction members also allege in the lawsuit that Perry was often unable to deliver a good stage performance as a result of his alcohol consumption. So if you need a wake-up call, getting sued by your friends / bandmates for $10 million, that ought to wake you up.
Well, here's another thing. It mentions, of course, they couldn't put together the album they wanted to do and put it out. But I don't think they replaced him in the band, did they? They probably couldn't. They may have wanted to, but probably couldn't. And now we have this resulting lawsuit. Trying, like you said, trying to get a settlement of sorts, and what's going to end up, there'll be a monetary payment. It won't be $10 million. But there'll be something, like you said, where he'll have to give up the name. It'll go to Navarro and these other guys, and they'll move on if they want to as Jane's Addiction. I bet that's what will happen. And he'll just be out in the cold as Perry Farrell's Jane's Addiction or whatever. But or Been Caught Stealing, that'd be a good title, or band.
Yeah. Been Caught Fighting.
Been Caught Fighting.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's something we're gonna have to keep an eye on, see how that goes, because that's interesting. That's gonna be one that I would love to watch some of that courtroom footage, because
there might be a fight.
It could be. Why don't they settle this at WrestleMania?
Right. If Jelly Roll can be at SummerSlam. Oh my God! Don't get me started.
Yeah, I won't. Don't worry. I don't want to lose our listeners.
But why do they hate Randy Orton? Let's just say that.
Yeah, I don't know.
What does the Viper do?
Well, I asked the Viper. He's in the chat.
Right.
Just ask him.
He don't know.
Probably not. If you were trying to pump yourself up and look as buff as Ace in his tank top, then legendary Swedish guitarist Yngwie Malmsteen has got your product. Here recently, if you visit the 62-year-old musician's official online merchandise store, you can now purchase probiotic capsules, electrolyte supplements, watermelon pre-flavored workout supplements, and even yoga mats. So instead of sponsored by whiskey or a soda or water selling your DNA in cans or hot sauce, Yngwie has decided to do his stuff on workout stuff. I mean, good for him. Good for him. We finally have a rocker that's, not doing the whiskey, not doing all that stuff. And
Right.
He's trying to promote health and well-being, which is great. Yngwie Malmsteen and protein, I just really wasn't expecting that.
No, and he says in this article that he doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't believe in it. But if you want to, go ahead, be my guest. But I prefer you not. And take your vitamins.
Okay, Hulk Hogan.
Take your vitamins, and it really works. Basically, he's into the working out and wants to promote that through this product line, which I think that's cool. I wonder. I'd like to see how much it costs and what's all in it. Maybe I could buy some. Maybe he'll send me some.
Well, Yngwie believes that feeling good and healthy is vital, whether you're shredding on the guitar or managing daily life. These gummies, the gummies that he has, are formulated to support a strong immune system, enhance energy levels, and promote overall wellness, all in a tasty Rockstar approved form. Please
Are the
tell me
gummies
one of them is whiskey flavored.
are the gummies like in guitar shapes?
I'm just going to click on this link and find out. Ooh.
What if it's like a little Fender Strat, and then you have a Les Paul and a Telecaster? That'd be neat. Little gummies.
Yeah. Let me see. Multivitamin gummies here. No, doesn't say. Does not say. Doesn't even show a picture of them. It's just the bottle, and you get 82% of your daily recommended daily allowance of vitamin A, 42 of vitamin C, but 129% of your vitamin B6. Big word. I can't say that. I don't know what it means.
B6?
Well, I know B6, but there was like a long word after that. So
I like this.
Enough to pronounce that stuff.
I like that he's got probiotic capsules. That's cool. Your gut health's important.
$28, $27.99 for 60 capsules. You can get some now. Serving size is 2 capsules, so it's 30 days. That's called math.
Well, and that'll run into money, but that's actually not unusually priced.
No, it's cheaper than going to GNC.
Right. Which is can be pretty expensive, and I bet if you looked, his protein powder is not expensive either. Not that bad. If it's $40 or around that area, it's not that bad. What?
I already closed it.
Okay. Yeah, I bet it's like $30-$40. That's not bad either.
No. I've got breaking news that just came out probably about 20-30 minutes ago. According to Variety magazine, Perry Farrell has now filed a lawsuit against Jane's Addiction.
There you go.
Dave Navarro, Eric Avery, and of course, Stephen Perkins, just hours after they sued him. In his complaint, which according to Variety is not a countersuit, Perry states, and I quote, that Jane's Addiction bandmates have sometimes been antagonistic towards each other has been well documented. But Navarro, Avery, and Perkins apparently decided that Jane's Addiction decades of success should be jettisoned in pursuit of a years-long bullying campaign against Farrell involving harassing him on stage during performances, including, among other tactics, trying to undermine him by playing their instruments at a high level so he could not hear himself sing without blasting his own in-ear monitors at an unsafe level. And of course, it talks about the harassment escalating to the September 13th physical violence between Navarro and Avery against Farrell on stage at the Boston show. Yeah, Navarro and the other band members took it upon themselves to abruptly cancel the remaining tour dates, violating contracts and disregarding all professional obligations, and apparently break up the band for good. So yeah, it's not a countersuit.
No, he's doing a separate suit, is what you're saying.
Right.
Don't all bands play their instruments at a high level?
Yeah. I mean, we were just there Friday, and there was a couple times where it was, looking over towards the monitors and saying down or up, because they need to get whatever out of their ears. But yeah. So that's going to be a great story to follow.
Nothing will be, as interesting as that is, nothing will beat being in Journey on tour and suing each other. Right. Nothing will beat that.
This is very true. And actually Viper just hit it on the head. He goes, if it's too loud in your ear monitors, let the sound guy know. Exactly.
Right.
Maybe he should have sued the sound guy.
Well, that's next. And the tour manager and the manager and, no one will be spared.
No.
It will just scorch the earth of Jane's Addiction.
That's great. We do have some good news to bring this week. After more than 2 decades of performing, Alter Bridge has announced their 8th studio album, which will be called Alter Bridge. So it's a self-titled 8th studio album and will be available on January 9th, 2026. Although you can go ahead and pre-order all physical formats. Now, it's going to be 12 brand new tracks. This album is helmed once again by the band's longtime collaborator and producer Elvis Basquet, and was recorded over 2 months this past spring at the legendary 5150 studio in California and Elvis's recording studio in Florida. 12 tracks. The last track of the 12 is called Slave to Master, and it is actually the longest song that Alter Bridge has ever recorded, clocking in at just over 9 minutes. 9 minutes and 3 seconds for that song. That's a long song.
Well, it's not Flight of Icarus, though, by Iron Maiden.
True.
Where you can start it now and drive to Indianapolis and you'll still be playing it.
Yeah.
So it's not that. I'm excited. I'm an Alter Bridge fan. I love Alter Bridge.
Yes.
And I think, it's always cool when new music from them comes out. They ever put out a bad record.
Oh, no, not at all.
And if you look through this article, it actually rates a lot of these, getting 4 out of 5 stars, etc. But they also announced a tour for Europe. Did you see how many dates were on that? Like 30 dates.
31 dates on the European leg of the trek. And they're all over the place. To put it in perspective real quick, that Slave to Master is actually longer than Prince's Purple Rain. And it clocks in at 8 minutes and 41 seconds. So it's going to be a long
Is
song.
it really?
Yeah. It's a super long
Well, I mean, it's nice to end the album with something epic.
Right.
What's cool about this, too, if you read the article, Tremonti and Miles trade vocals on 2 songs.
Yes.
Tremonti doesn't sing on Alter Bridge records, but as you and I know, he's got a great voice. He can impersonate Sinatra, and he can rock it out in his own band, Tremonti, and here they're going to trade off vocally. So that's really neat. And when you see them live, they trade off guitar as well, because Miles Kennedy's a great guitar player.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, so I'm excited. That tour is going to have, on that European leg, is going to have Daughtry and Sevendust in support. So they typically do well in Europe. They play stadiums, large arenas, that sort of thing. So we'll see what they do here in the States. I'm sure they'll do a tour, but it won't be as on that scale, I don't think.
No, and January 15th is when it kicks off in Hamburg, Germany, and it goes 31 days until March 5th. There's some hits and misses, of course, in February, whatever. But that should answer the question that a lot of people have been having of whether Creed is ever going to stop touring. Well, at least one of the members will for a little bit.
Right. One of them's got to be in this band.
Yeah. No, 3 of them have to be in this band. So
right. Miles Kennedy is the one that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, think of the time these people put in with their multiple bands. Because when Miles isn't doing Alter Bridge, he's in Slash's band doing records with Slash. He puts out his own solo work. There's 3 or 4 projects that he's got going on, and we know Tremonti is super busy with this Creed, his solo stuff, and his Sinatra stuff. So which I think he's going to do another record on that, isn't he? Hasn't he talked about that?
I believe so. I want to say there for a while there was a tour talked about, unless it's already happened and I just missed it. But
right. But either way, these guys anymore these days are so busy, and they make the most of being a musician for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Released on January 9th of 2026, the 8th studio album entitled Alter Bridge from the band Alter Bridge. 12 tracks, Silent Divide, we'll just run through them. Rue the Day, Power Down, Trust in Me, Disregarded, Tested and Able, What Lies Within, sounds like should be a Metallica song. Hang by
Right.
a Thread, Scales Are Falling, which is a rendition of Tears Are Falling from Kiss. Not really. Playing Aces. They got a song for you, Playing Aces.
All right.
What are you waiting for? And of course, the aforementioned Slave to Master. You were talking about the switch up in vocals. Trust in Me shows Miles and Mark sharing the vocal duties as Miles handles the verse duties while Mark takes the chorus. And then that strategy is flipped on Tested and Able as Mark handles the verses and Miles takes on the choruses behind one of the band's heaviest intros to date, giving way to an unforgettable melody. So I can't wait. The epic track Slave to Master has come, is going to be the longest, of course, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be good. Like you just said, they've never had a bad album. Why start now?
Right. And so I wonder, it's July now. I wonder how soon we'll get that first single. It won't be long. If they're announcing the record, it won't be long before we get the first single. So we'll get a good little sneak peek of what we're going to be hearing down the road.
Oh, yeah. I have no doubt. So, yeah, that's something pretty cool to look forward to. I read another article, the one I'm getting ready to get into. This news came out just a couple days ago. I don't have confirmation, but seeing that that it's on both Blabbermouth that we use and a couple others. I'm sorry, am I boring you? There's a post out on a Facebook group that says a very special song that late Warrant frontman drummer. Let me try all that again. Late Warrant frontman Jani Lane wrote, but never completed, has now been finished thanks to bassist Jerry Dixon. And apparently it is going to get a worldwide release at some point with more information to be made available soon, whatever soon means. Today, tomorrow, next week, next month. As a Warrant fan, that's pretty cool. It's not an unfinished track. It's not like, there were bits and pieces of a track out there. This was just an unfinished song.
Okay.
Jerry Dixon and there's a couple other songwriters who have previously written for like Lynch Mob, Ace Frehley, Giant, and Robin McCauley. They helped complete this track, probably finish the words and all that. There are no details on like the name of it or anything. There was an interview done, I don't know, late last year, I think it was, where Jerry was talking about how everything that Jani done is pretty much out. There wasn't anything that was like left behind, which is sad.
That's what I would like to hear.
Yeah, you want to get into that vault.
Right. And so my first thought was this was a demo that was unfinished, and now they're going to finish it, and we would actually get to hear at least a little bit of Jani singing this. But the way you explained it, it's just a song that's being finished, and the current version of Warrant will be recording that.
Yeah. So according to Jerry, he says, and this is a quote from him, you pretty much have 99.9% of everything out that we've done, and we've being Warrant with Jani Lane. So,
right.
But it'll still be kind of cool.
It will be because it's where he was at the time. I mean, we don't know what it's going to be. We don't know if it's going to be cherry pie era type stuff,
right?
Or it's going to be dog eat dog type stuff, which would be fantastic. I would love to hear unreleased tracks off that record, but I guess there aren't any.
I would say no.
It's fascinating to me that some bands are so prolific with writing, and then other bands, well, we got 12, we'll knock it down to 10. We got 11, and we'll make it 9. That kind of thing. And there's just everything is there's no bones to pick. There's no meat to pull off that bone. But then you got a band like Bon Jovi back in the day, 40 songs a record. No joke. Like 20, 30, 40 songs. And then we're knocking it down to 8, 10, whatever. Right. and I know you're not a Springsteen fan, but he was notorious for that too. Like just song after song after song after song, 40, 50 songs for one record. And sometimes those songs would just evolve over the years, and you would have different versions and different demos, and eventually you get Dancing in the Dark or something.
Right.
But then you got bands like this, like, hey, we got 10, and they're great. They're 10 great songs. That's what we could do.
Yeah. Throw it to the company, record it, be done. Another, you say, whether it's going to be the era of Dog Eat Dog or if it's going to be the era of Cherry Pie. To add on to that, is this going to be an I Saw Red? Is it going to be a Heaven, or is it going to be a Down Boys, or something Fast and Furious? No trademark infringement there.
Right. And like there's just nothing. Well, here's something interesting though. They're talking about putting out a box set at one point in this other interview in February.
Yeah.
And they're elaborating on what might be included on that. Jerry Dixon says, like, say we were writing and recording with Jani and he's talking, but it's not a finished song yet. So it may be something that entails video, and we're sharing all that stuff. The making of Dog Eat Dog, we have a lot of behind the scenes stuff on that record that nobody's ever seen. That would be really cool. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Because it would really show where they are as a band, where they are personally in their lives and that sort of thing, and how this record is, coming together.
Yeah, it'll be good. Viper just said 32 pennies in a ragu jar. Yeah.
Right.
It's one of the best lines ever.
That's a great song.
That just tells me that that's somebody who's never walked around with 32 pennies in a ragu jar.
Well, that's probably their life savings,
Yeah. That's 32 pennies by Warrant. If you don't know it, go listen to it. Not yet. Wait
Do it later.
Yeah, wait about 35 more minutes, 25, whatever. The last story that I want to go through before we start jumping into our excitement from last Friday. Nikki Sixx has come out and explained how Mötley Crüe's collaboration with Dolly Parton came about, and to nobody's surprise whatsoever, it was due to their collaboration on Parton's Rockstar album. Actually, not
Obviously.
the band's, but his collaboration with Dolly Parton. And there's so many words on here, but that's what it came from. It is what it is. I'm still pissed off that they didn't play Ozzy's thing. Whatever.
I was just going to get into that with you for a second, because we haven't seen anything from Sharon, have we, about the mysterious band that was fired, but we all think it might be Mötley Crüe.
No.
Right. Yeah. And you gave, after we went off the air, you gave a great logic behind why you think it is Mötley Crüe, and it made a lot of sense because they toured with him in '87, right? That's what you're saying. And they're all over.
It would have been like,
they're all over. We all know the stories where they were with him when he snorted ants. They were with him when he pissed on the Alamo. They were with him for all that stuff, partying and partying and partying. And that relationship was built then. And, they weren't there. And they issued a statement even talking, basically, hey, Ozzy's great, glad, he's retiring, et cetera, et cetera. But no word about why they weren't there.
Well, no, Nikki released a statement not too long ago, probably within the last week, that it wasn't going to work. Yeah, it didn't work out.
Right.
There's obviously issues in the band with Vince. And you know how rumors go. Some people say he's still recovering from illness. Some people are saying that illness is really not an illness. It's alcoholism. Who knows? And I was close, by the way. It wasn't 85. It was 84 on the Bark at the Moon tour.
Okay, 84. And that was when Mötley Crüe was really, coming up. But Vince has taken the summer off, hasn't he, basically?
Yeah.
Because we were talking to some people at the show that are going to an event in Kentucky where Vince Neil has been replaced because he's taken time off by I think one of the bands was the version of Wrath that's going around, which is basically just Warren DeMartini and Stephen Piercy, which that would be great. I would love to see that. But again, we're just speculating on this whole thing about who's not included in the Ozzy Black Sabbath show. But TBT's logic makes absolute perfect sense that it was probably Mötley Crüe.
And if not, okay. But, I just thought the logic worked. According to a statement on his social media, I think it was X, Nikki Sixx was asked why, and responding to a fan, he said, "We have been having health issues within the band." That's it. And then on Instagram, he shared a little bit more where he says, "I work hard and I'm not interested in dying from work and BS stress. I work up my blood twice a year and we're focused on always evolving health, my goal. Just got back today's newest results and considering some misadventures in the past 66-year-old pirate ship looks ready to go back to sea."
Did he learn English from Wes Scantlin?
I don't know. I have no idea. But whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They weren't there. And fans want to know. And it's kind of if you got crumbs around your mouth, you're probably the one that was in the cookie jar.
Right, exactly. And you're having to explain in detail about why you weren't there and issuing statements and that sort of thing. And it looks suspicious. It is what it is. But yeah, they weren't there.
Yeah, we're speculating. We don't know.
But name another band.
I can. Soundgarden.
Okay, but they don't have a singer.
But Soundgarden was also announced when they announced this whole show, and then they weren't there.
I did hear that. I do remember that.
Yeah.
That could be for a million reasons because many people would line up to sing with those guys.
Right.
They sing 4 songs. They could have 4 different singers.
Yeah.
So could be them. Who knows?
Yeah. But if it was all because Vince couldn't go, then, why couldn't you get James Michael? The lead singer for 6 a.m. He could have filled in. I don't know. I'm going to get up on that high horse again, and I don't want to.
John Corabi.
Oh, I wouldn't want to put crabs through that.
No, I wouldn't either. He's done enough.
Yeah.
He did his time.
Exactly. Well, now's the time everybody's been waiting for. What a freaking show. Last Friday, Castle Knoll Amphitheater in Paoli, Indiana. As I mentioned earlier in the show, Ace, myself, Mrs. TBT, moderator Natalie, and of course, we cannot forget Kathy, and your offspring, and the sheriff, all went down to the Paoli area. If you don't know where that is, that's about just over 100 miles south of Indianapolis. By the way the crow flies, it's south. That's how that saying goes, right?
Right.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, doors opened at 6 o'clock. Paralandra took the stage at 7:30. Played for hour.
Right. They played 12 or 13 songs, which was a pretty good set for an opening band.
Right.
More like a co-headlining thing.
Exactly what I was going to say, because it did not feel like they were an opener. It felt like they were a co-headlining band. Before we get into the show, what? I want to talk about the venue. This is a fairly new venue, Castle Knoll Amphitheater, located again in Paoli, Indiana. This place, when we got there, I just about missed the turn. I think I told you that.
Right. So did we.
My passenger, the sheriff, said, "It's right there." So I whipped a hard one to the left and made it in. So you go up to this joint. You go up this long road. I want to call it a driveway. You go up this long road. You park at the top of the hill.
Right.
You get out, you walk through security. And then once you're through security, you're walking back downhill in what has got to be the coolest little natural amphitheater area, because the stage is way down at the bottom, surrounded basically by hills. So your sound is going to bounce.
Right.
For me, absolutely an incredible sight when you just get there, because this was our first time, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, a little bit different, but for lack of a better term, pretty badass.
I think if it grows, they'll have to work on the parking. They'll have to do something about the parking.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but as you were coming up that long, windy road, to the left and to the right of that road was additional parking, because it was all roped off for parking. So I think they've got plenty. I mean, they've got plenty of land. They got like 6,000 acres.
Right. And they obviously are looking to get bigger, because they've already set it up. Like some of the outdoor sheds that we go to in the summertime, like when you and I go to Deer Creek, or when Kathy and I would go to Syracuse to that amphitheater, you could probably fit minimum 5,000 people. Minimum, maybe more. I'm shooting it low, but
sure,
they had a lot of space,
a ridiculous amount of space.
And I tell you what, I loved the amphitheater itself, the stage.
Yes.
The stage was situated perfectly because the sun's behind it. Eventually your table was, but our table was in the shade. So this, 90-degree heat that we had that day, I didn't even notice it until I walked out to go get some food or go to the merch table. I didn't even notice it. It was great.
Why did you not even say when you went to get a refreshing adult beverage?
Correct. When I went to get a refreshing adult beverage, which was, as they said on their website, that everything is reasonably priced, and everyone says that, but you know what? It really was. It really was.
I agree. I mean, all I had were refreshing adult beverages, but it was well priced.
I had food, and the food I got was a huge portion for not a lot of money. I thought that was great, and then I felt bad for the ice cream guy, though, because he's right in the middle of no man's land, and his phone wouldn't work, his Wi-Fi wouldn't work, nothing would work, and he couldn't do anything but cash. And guess what? No one's got cash.
No, nobody carries cash anymore.
Well, I did. I got burned at the AC/DC show.
Did you get ice cream?
No, because I learned my lesson at AC/DC not to carry cash.
But you just said you took cash.
I did not. I said I learned my lesson. I took cash at AC/DC.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, card only. I'm like, well, I got money now. And then this guy's like, cash only. I'm like, well, dude, I brought card because what the hell?
She just gave him your card. But anyway, great venue, lots of potential. I look forward to watching them grow. That is the Castle Knoll Amphitheater, located in Paoli, Indiana. Their website, if you want to check it out, CKAMP, that's AMP, CKAMP.com. Check them out. They got like, I think, one more show that's scheduled so far for this year. Doesn't mean that's it. I talked to one of the officials or whatever after the show, and they said that they're looking to get more and more there. And I told them about about us plugging them basically on the show, and they said, oh, that's great, because the more word they can get out, the better. We got there, we're able to go straight to the merch booth, straight to the refreshing adult beverages, food, ice cream, whatever it was you wanted. They don't have a lot set up, but they're basically, it's food trucks. It's not like they've got a separate building or booth or whatever set up for your refreshments. They're food trucks, which were local, which is great, because now you're giving back to the community by saying, hey, come on in, offer your stuff. Hopefully you got Wi-Fi so you can take plastic. Right. But yeah, They did
Well,
not.
I found out later nobody had Wi-Fi. They were just swiping your card
Yeah.
and recording it, and then when they hit the highway, that's when they just get a slew of charges
Yeah.
coming in.
I
We made our
needed
money.
receipts so that I could write it off on the Weekly Poor Podcast account, but whatever.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look. I wonder how they set up their show because they don't have a lot. They didn't have a lot last year, so I wonder what their plan is on how to get more, shows more of a continuity there, whether every other weekend or something like that.
They have a management company that is handling that for them. That is called the Eric Group. They're the ones that are handling all that. So I think it's a trial and error thing right now to see what's working, what's not, and they'll start getting more and more in. Of course, Paralandra took the stage first. Simply amazing. Had somebody in the crowd turn to me and just be like, "I don't understand how they've not blown up already." And
Right.
that is, if you listen, and I think Viper said something earlier about listening to Paralandra, what you hear on the album is exactly what you're going to hear on the stage from Cassandra. I mean, her
Right.
vocals, along with the drummer who's doing all the high stuff, because he's hilarious anyway.
Yeah. Right.
What a freaking ridiculous sound that they had coming out of them. Her father, Cassandra's father, Paul, the guitarist, he's incredible. What just an amazing show! Like if we were only there to see Paralandra and there was no other band, I would have left satisfied.
Oh, definitely, definitely. We could have left and been fine.
Yeah.
And like you said, like a lot of shows, a lot of bands sound just like the rest, and that's what we're running into the thing with tracks. But the beauty of Paralandra and Cassandra herself, she's only 30, 31 years old. So this stuff for her now is nothing. She can sing it just like she wrote it, and it's not a big deal. And but yeah, what you hear is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I marked out for the John Sykes Blue Murder thing because they played Jelly Roll, and that blew me away. That was great.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a set list now from, if you remember, Paul talked to us about the Texas show, where the sun was in their eyes. On that show, they did not do the Jelly Roll. They didn't do Blue Murder, but they did a Boston little thing. That was kind of cool. They did a medley.
Yeah, and if you think about that, think of that vocal range.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that and see what it sounds like.
Highly recommend. Of course, we've had Cassandra on the show twice. Highly recommend going to see them if you get the chance. You will not be disappointed whatsoever. There wasn't a single person I know that was in our group that had anything negative to say. Getting to spend some time with Cassandra and the rest of the guys in the band after their performance during the intermission between them and FireHouse was great. They are very, very cordial to their fans. We're talking taking pictures, signing autographs, having conversations about whatever.
Brought their dog.
Absolutely.
Brought their dog. That was awesome. And they not only had fans there, which, there weren't a lot because most people are there to see FireHouse.
Right.
But they gained quite a few fans because when we went to the merch line to talk to Sandra, there were people weeping that had never knew how good this band was or ever heard of them, and were buying shirts, having Cassandra sign them, talking to her. That was some of the most fun was watching new people discover this band, and they stayed there almost the whole set for FireHouse. They were there almost the rest of the night.
Yeah,
at that merch table.
For me, and I know they're still. I mean, I guess you can still consider them a young band. Paralandra was formed in 2013, but they're still out there with their fans. They're still interacting. They're interacting with people on social media. I mean, they know what's going on, and they keep going, and they're not, they're not getting that ego that we see a lot of bands get. That's okay, we're all high and mighty now, so appreciate it. Go buy our merch. They're right in the middle of it, and they're just
Right.
and I'm not saying this because of our relationship with Cassandra and having her on a couple times. I'm just saying it genuinely. They're genuinely good people, all of them.
Yeah,
Her,
they
her
were
dad,
very
Paul,
nice.
and Sawyer, the bass player, and Dakota on drums. Like I said a while ago, he's hilarious. So
Yeah, and Paul even just asking us sound mix was like
yeah,
we're people that you can consult to, with on sound mixing, how was the mix, how did it sound, that kind of thing. He just asked us that out of the blue because we were having a conversation with him.
yeah.
So super nice guy. Highly recommend seeing Paralandra if they ever come around you. They tour heavily in the Midwest and in the southern states, but they got a western leg coming up. They're heading to Oregon not too long from now.
Right.
I looked at some of their dates, so that'd be kind of cool. Maybe expose some new fans to them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Viper asked a question, but everybody's already jumped in and answered it, so that's fantastic. Natalie
what's
and
that?
Kathy.
I can't see it.
He asked if the bass player was her husband, and they've already jumped on that to nip that in the bud. So, yeah, she's dating a guy that's in the lynch mob.
Right, in Lynch Mob.
Yeah,
Because she mentioned that on stage. Yeah, there was a kid there. I actually talked to him. The kid that she pointed out in the Lynch Mob shirt,
Oh, right.
and it's the same shirt I have here. It's the same shirt, except his is a little nicer. Mine's beat all to hell. But the kid's like 18. I talked to him for a minute, and he says, oh, yeah, I had to kind of borrow it from my dad. And I'm like, I know, because I've got the same shirt. I'm that dad. Here,
Right.
take my shirt. Yeah, that was kind of cool. And then FireHouse came out and played really well. We saw FireHouse a couple of years ago, right before CJ Snare passed, unfortunately.
Yes.
And we were blown away at what he did on stage and how good he was and how good they sounded, right?
Yeah.
And they sounded good here. Something was missing though. Something was lacking a little bit, and it wasn't the new vocalist or anything like that. It just, it was good, but it wasn't as good as when we saw them a couple of years ago. I don't think.
See, I disagree. I think this was better than what we saw him at the Mill.
I don't know. I talked to the sheriff right after that, and he and I agreed that it was lacking a little punch, a little fire. Something was missing.
And, well, I can tell you flat out, if that's the case, it could very well have been the heat, even though it was damn hot when we seen him a couple years ago when we went to the Mill.
Yeah.
But
and we didn't have the shelter.
Right. To go a little bit further into what you were talking about, with a new singer, Viper, of course, asked another question in the chat. Ask how the new singer was, and I will give 100% kudos, credit, everything in the world to Nate Peck. He is amazing. If this is the way I kind of look at it, if you have Skid Row, who is continuously looking for a singer, you're welcome for the mention of Skid Row, Viper. Skid Row is constantly looking for a singer. If they could even get 1% of the luck that FireHouse had with getting Nate Peck, then Skid Row would be out doing these tours and selling out venues and going on tour with all these other bands. Nate Peck is incredible. He's got the vocal range.
Because this stuff is not easy.
No.
It is not easy to sing this stuff.
Right.
And he nailed it. And I think he does an uncanny job of singing like CJ, which I have mixed feelings on that. But I think you want, when you have a singer like that that's replacing someone that everyone knows how it sounds, you want it's like Journey. You know, they've had 10 guys sound like Steve Perry. Well, that's what you want. You want a guy that sounds like CJ Snare, can hit the notes, you know, and he does his best, and he does a hell of a job. And he's active. He moves around a lot. He's young. That helps. That helps a lot.
Yeah, it's very good with the
he,
crowd, great crowd interaction and all that. So my hat's off, if I wore one, to Nate Peck. And of course, the rest of the band was fantastic as well.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking the performance at all.
Right.
I think they did a great job, and it may be because I was so blown away by Paralandra. I was having Paralandra hangover that you know, it wasn't resonating the same with me as it was at you know, the Mill, because we were, you know, that was the first time we saw them. We couldn't believe how good they were. So and every time I looked at the FireHouse guitar player, what's his name?
Bill Leverty.
Wes. Yeah, Wes's buddy there, Viper's buddy. I thought of him. I'm like, man, that's the guy that taught Viper how to play guitar right there. That's the guy.
He's the guy that taught me how to wear sunglasses.
Yeah, and a ball cap.
Yeah, at night. All in all, great show. Highly recommend both Paralandra and FireHouse. If you get a chance, definitely go see Paralandra. Support them. Follow both FireHouse and Paralandra on social media. Just listen. Just like Viper said, he hadn't listened to him, and he did, and he's blown away. Great songs.
Exactly, and that's what happened.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. Tonight, in addition to that, I want to encourage everybody to check out the band Haunted Vessel. Haunted Vessel has their newest single out, which is called Leeches. It's a very dark, heavy, and basically a downright diabolical song. They've got some other stuff that's out there as well. There is not a lot of info out about them. I'm going to post up their one of their videos to one of their songs just for people to get a taste.
Are you giving them the creamy one or the other one?
Yes. We'll be posting some of their stuff on social media just to get you familiar, because Haunted Vessel is our pour of the week for this week on the Weekly Pour podcast. That is our show. It is way over time for us to get out of here. I've got liquor calling my name. Not really. I have to go turn off the water pump in the yard. We'll be back next week with a live special guest. Not really. It'll just be us. But I'm pretty sure Ace is going to find his sleeves. Maybe. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to email. Follow our social. Hit the thumbs up. Do you have anything else to add?
Nah, I'm good, man. Rock on.
We'll see you guys next week.